much for giving me this opportunity to talk to you today. So today I want to talk about loneliness and about meditation. So what I'm going to do, I'll talk for a while, then we'll do a meditation practice. And then at the end, I'll open up. And if you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them for you. So modern life, the modern world we live in at the moment has created the perfect recipe for loneliness, isolation through the pandemic and lockdown, social media, where we tend to do everything online. We talk to people online. We compare their life against our life. You know, we look at pictures on Instagram and we see that people eat better food than us, live in bigger houses, have better cars than us and better clothes. And we start to compare. And also, we spend a lot of time exhausted and in the threat mode. And that's because we're overworking or too much pressure from work or studies, that we're just overwhelmed by our studies. And of course, you know, put into the mix a pandemic, and then you really have got a perfect recipe for loneliness. And that's why loneliness is on the increase. So with the increase of technology, we're becoming more connected than ever before. Yet, despite all of the social media platforms, despite the tools, devices, and apps to maintain contact with each other, we're becoming increasingly lonely. And the paradox here is that we've never been more connected, and yet we've never been more lonelier. So humans are naturally driven to seek out relationships. We're social animals. That's what we like to do. We like to have friendships, camaraderie, and have someone to confide in. That is how we're built. That is the way that our brains are wired. And just sending an emoji, a little smiley face on WhatsApp or a little sad face is not communication, is not building relationships. Relationships have to be human, with people. Now, of course, you know, I'm not saying technology is wrong. We're in technology, we're using technology here, and it's fantastic. But it isn't the answer. It isn't what we were meant to be doing. Yes, use technology when we can, but when we can really, you know, go out and meet people, we must do that, because that isolation, that disconnection from the human relationships, from the human touch, from the human conversations, is causing a huge amount of loneliness in people. So loneliness is actually a state of mind. And it's a state of mind of a person who they perceive themselves to be isolated from society, or maybe they're not getting what they need or what they want out of social relationships. And you see, that's what I was saying about technology, that we're not getting that connection that we need. That connection is a human connection. So loneliness has been found to reduce your academic performance, your creativity, your productivity, but it increases such things as bad behavior, accidents, interpersonal conflicts, certainly substance abuse and absenteeism, and even the smartphone addiction that people seem to be having these days. But at a clinical level, loneliness can bring on stress, anxiety, depression, and even a sense of boredom. But I would say here that boredom is not a bad thing. You know, you are at your most creative when you're bored. You know, when you sit down and you not pick up the phone and you've got nowhere to go, nothing to do, and you just have it's a cold day and you've got a steaming hot mug of chai in your hand, and you just sit there, then your imagination kicks in. But that can only happen when we're bored. So though they say that loneliness leads to boredom. Sometimes that boredom can be a real great creative space for us. So studies have found that meditation, even if it's only practiced for short periods of time, so like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, it can reduce feelings of loneliness. So meditation is a practice that needs to be done on a regular basis. That's the most important thing, because meditation is about learning a new skill. So when we're learning any new skill, we need to make sure that we put in the effort. And so doing it on a regular basis is important. It's not so important the length of time. But by doing meditation, it can help to reduce loneliness. So when you're feeling lonely, this is often because you perceive yourself as being separate from the world. So we see that I'm here and the rest of the world is outside of me. So that way of thinking makes us feel isolated, that this is me, only me, and everybody else is out there. So one thing that meditation can help is to bring awareness to the fact that all us beings are interconnected, that all life is interconnected, and that even if you might feel separated from others, in many ways, you're in fact connected. So we can't do without other people. We rely on them to do jobs so we can live our life. We rely on people to cook and to clean and to keep people in order, like the police, to look after us when we're sick, like nurses and doctors. So we need the man growing the vegetables, we need man selling the vegetables, we need to be able to go and buy the vegetables. So we are all interconnected. So that's one of the benefits of meditation, that it helps us to understand the interconnectedness of life. So when we understand that, we don't feel so lonely. So another additional benefit of meditation is that it helps to develop an awareness of our emotions. Remember, loneliness is an emotion. It's a state of mind. It's a mental state. So it helps you to recognize that they're temporary in nature. They're impermanent. They're subject to change. So when we meditate, we can see that these emotions come and they go. That's a great thing for us to learn, because what we tend to do is get all caught up in them. So that mindful recognition of understanding the emotions are temporary in nature and they're subject to change, that's going to help us to see that emotions are not you. You don't have to identify, which is another big point. We tend to identify with emotions. The emotion of loneliness comes up and I think that this is me, I'm lonely. So just because you're feeling lonely, it doesn't mean that you're a lonely person. Remember, feeling lonely and being alone are two different things. I love being alone. I really crave being alone, but I'm not a lonely person. And you can be a lonely person in a crowd, yeah? So it isn't really about whether you've got lots of friends, it's about having strong relationships. So because you feel lonely, it doesn't mean that you're a lonely person. It just means that for those few minutes or for the half an hour or however long that emotion stays for, you're experiencing lonely thoughts and the effects on the lonely thoughts on your body. That's it. There is no need for you to identify. And again, when we do meditation, we understand that. So anyone who's ever experienced loneliness will know just how painful it can be. And I understand that it can be extremely painful. Not that I've ever suffered from loneliness, but I've, spoke to people have come to see me and asked me to help them. And I can see that it is extremely painful. So for that reason, lots of people try to suppress their feelings. They try to ignore them, or they go the other way and they indulge in the emotions. And unfortunately, by suppressing or by indulging in those emotions, the result is that they bring themselves more suffering. So with meditation, you recognize the feelings without trying to block them out or label them or categorize them or as negative thoughts. So it's good to label and say this is loneliness, but we shouldn't label and categorize them as negative feelings, negative emotions. Instead, you're able to recognize, acknowledge that emotion, accept that that emotion is there, and then you find a way to help yourself through that. So regular meditation practice helps you to become aware of the fact that emotions come and go. No need to identify with them, no need to get caught up in them, no need to suppress them, just face up to them and understand that they will go, they're not going to be permanent. So you don't need to ignore or suppress them or try to block them, but rather see them as they are. Simply becoming aware of your emotions is a really, really powerful skill that can help you transform any moment. And studies have found that social connectivity can be increased using that loving kindness meditation practice. So you may feel lonely, you may be isolated, you may have come from another country and you're studying in India, you don't have many friends, you're feeling homesick. Then a loving kindness meditation practice can make you feel connected. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to do meditation on loving kindness, but especially to help us through those moments of loneliness. So I want you to just sit nice and comfortable now. If you're sitting on a chair, put your feet flat on the ground so you're nice and grounded, and a little bit apart so you're nice and stable. Your hands can be anywhere in your lap, somewhere where they're going to be comfortable for you. And then put your back straight so you can breathe in and out without any obstruction. And when you put your back straight, I want you to drop your shoulders so your whole body goes, sinks down, because that's going to be a great position for you to stay for the next 10 minutes or so without moving. And once you've got yourself comfortable, I want you to very lightly start to close your eyes and focus your awareness on your breath. And become aware that you're breathing in and you're breathing out. Now your mind will wander off because it's natural, but every time it wanders off, just very gently bring it back and start focusing on, I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. And each time you breathe out, just let go. Let go of anything in your mind that's holding you back. Let go of any stress or tension in your body. Just let it go. And the more you relax, the more benefit you'll gain from this meditation practice. So let's just spend the next few moments just focusing on the breath flowing in and flowing out. So now hopefully you're feeling nice and settled. So I want you to start this practice by thinking of a person that you care about. So think of a person you care about, bring them into the forefront of your mind, and then imagine that person sitting right in front of you, and you're facing that person. And as you're facing this person you care about, I want you to feel as though you're sending them loving kindness, like it's shining outwards from your heart center. And it's just covering this person with loving kindness. Just keep sending out those light rays of loving kindness to the person you care about. So now I want you to repeat this phrase to this person. May you feel love, joy, and peace. Now take a slow breath in and then breathe out. And then repeat that phrase again. May you feel love, joy, and peace. And then again, take another slow breath in. And then a slow breath out. And repeat a final time to this person you care about. And this time, really, really mean that. May you feel love, joy, and peace. So now just sit for a moment and feel the connectiveness between you and the person you care about. Now I want you to think of someone who's shown you loving kindness in the past. So someone you know that cares about you. Bring them into the forefront of your mind. And now imagine them sitting in front of you. And imagine them sending out their heartfelt loving kindness to you. And just feel what it's like to receive that person's loving kindness, their best wishes. Now imagine them saying these words to you. So repeat after me. May I feel love, joy, and peace. And take a slow breath in through your nose. And then out again through the nose. And repeat again to yourself, may I feel love, joy, and peace. Take that slow breath in. And then out. And repeat one more time to yourself. May I feel love, joy, and peace. And now just sit for a moment and feel the connectedness between you and the person who cares for you. Just cover yourself in feelings of loving kindness, both for giving loving kindness and receiving that loving kindness. Feel the closeness, the gratitude, and the unconditional love shared with these people, the people that care for you and the people you care for. And just sit with this trusting feeling of kindness and connection. And to close this practice, we're going to be extending this feeling of loving kindness towards those people that we don't even know. I want you to wish all the people you don't know, all the strangers, everybody, the people maybe that you see on campus or you see around that you know nothing about. I want you to wish them happiness and good health and success. So repeat this verse to all those strangers in your life. May we all feel love, joy, and peace. Repeat that. And take a slow breath in, then out. And repeat again. May we all feel love, joy, and peace. And breathe in and breathe out. And for the last time, repeat after me. May we all feel love, joy, and peace. And just sit for a moment with those feelings of loving kindness and gratitude and connectedness with all the strangers in the world, with all the people that, even though we don't know them, in some way we'll be connected to them. So sit with that feeling of loving kindness in your heart. And now let's take a few moments to quietly come back to the present. And we can do this by refocusing on our breath again. And just becoming aware that we're breathing in and we're breathing out. And now, just very slowly, start to open your eyes. If you enjoyed this video, then press the subscribe button now. And don't forget to share the video with your friends.